Okay, so I'm so excited to share with you guys tonight. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephany Kay. I've been here for almost 3 years, and this is legit home, and I'm sure every one of you can agree that this is home. Tonight, I have a special person that I want to share some insight with her, or with you guys. She's on my team. Her name is Tesla, but before I do, I have some type of an analogy that I want to kind of talk with you guys about that really kind of resonates with a lot of conversations that I've had with team this past couple of weeks. But I want most of this to be really focused around what Tesla has to share, because what she has to share just got me so pumped up, because it really is truly a mindset shift with her, and it just super excites me just thinking about what she's doing. Okay, but again, before we go further into that, I want to talk about this analogy. So one of my girls, Lisa Noel, brought this to me yesterday, and I was diving into this analogy, and the more I dove into it, the more I was falling in love with it, and was really kind of relating it to our business and our industry, and how we kind of see a lot of things going on with this business and with network marketing in general. Okay, so this is really all about, like, are you in your own way, and are you expecting out of maybe some people that you're enrolling something that they're not willing to push out. And what I mean by that is so often I feel like maybe we enroll somebody, and sometimes we get super excited about, like, I got she's enrolled, she's so excited to get started, and like you're spending all your time on this person, and they're not really like, it's over. Sorry, did someone have a, sorry. Okay, anyways, they're not really, like, I don't know if they're feeling overwhelmed, or maybe they're feeling pressured to do more than what they, like, really wanted to do. But I just want to remind you guys that everybody that comes into this industry is a human being, and everybody that comes into this industry is going to run at it at a completely different pace than you, and that's okay. And we have to be able to respect where everybody is mentally, with life, with their business, and everything, where they are for as long as they need to be in that space. Okay, so I want you to think about a deck of cards, okay, and include the jokers and the aces, right? So including jokers, a deck of cards is 54, okay? So how I want you to think about this is that deck of cards, every one of each of those cards are real human beings, okay? So in this business, let's say what we like to look for are the aces and jokers. So the aces and jokers, they're like your leaders. Those are the ones that are like showing up every single day, getting on the Zooms, doing their self-development, not just doing their self-development, but then putting the work in behind the scenes and grinding all day long. And they're your top rankers, maybe your top income earners, things like that, okay? But those two are set out into two different categories. You got your aces. Those are the ones that are going to be 200Ks. Again, they're showing up every day, all those things. It may take them a year, it may take them 5 years, but those are the ones that are your leaders, no matter of that pace, okay? But then you got your jokers, and these jokers are like your unicorns. These are the ones that are like, yes, they're going to be 200K, but they're not stopping at 200K. Like, they're going to be $1 million a month. They're going to be like, these are the ones that are like, in 90 days, you're 200K kind of type of a person, okay? So I want you to think about that. So if you're thinking about this deck of cards, I'm kind of going to put the other in, like, the other parts of our business to the other cards, okay? So there are, so before I move on with that, think about this for a second. If you ask any top leader in this company, if you were on the interview that Lisa Fleur did with me last week, you probably heard me say this, but if you ask any leader in this company, top income earner, top ranker, it doesn't matter, a good leader in this company, and you ask them, you know, how many, you know, runners, leaders, like, how many actual individuals do you think it takes to have a successful, like, 200K team or whatever, okay? Every one of them is probably going to say between 4.
Oh, amazing.
Okay. Every one of them is going to probably say between 4 or 6 people. And yes, these teams are going to have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 people on their team, but all it takes is a few really good, awesome people, awesome leaders to run with to really make it to the top, okay? So think about that. Okay, so now there are 16 face cards, including jokers in a deck of cards, okay? So think about that. And now your numbers 2 through 8, okay? And again, all of these cards are people, and this is an analogy that's kind of gonna be a little bit drawn out, but you'll tie it all together, okay? So the numbers 2 through 8, there are 36 of that deck are numbers 2 through 8. 2 through 8 are the people that come in and don't do anything, okay? So what I mean by that is they sign up, they say, I'm super excited, I wanna change my health, I wanna change my wealth, all these things, but they sign up and legit do nothing. They might not even end up buying their pack, or maybe they do, but that's the only thing that ever happens on that account. That's okay, okay? That's okay. But I want you to think about that number. 36 cards out of those 54 are numbers 2 through 8, okay? So think about that. And now the 9s and 10s, these are the ones that are like your glorified customers pretty much. In all this deck, these are all promoters I'm talking about, okay? So 9s and 10s are like your glorified customers. These are the people that come in as a promoter, and they might just become commission qualified every single month, okay? These are the ones that order for themselves every single month. They love their product. They stay consistent on their product. We love these people, you know, we love them. We love all of these people. It doesn't matter how many people they're enrolling, how many people they're not, but we still love them. We want to meet them in their space. They're still going to become qualified every single month. They're still fueling their body nutritionally every single month. And one thing I want you to think about is you might come in as a 2 through 8 of those cards, and maybe someday it could take 2 months, it could take 2 years, but what if one day something clicks and all of a sudden now you are one of those face cards. So the face cards, the jacks, queens, excuse me, one of those face cards, okay? So like the jacks are kind of like your hobbyists, okay? You might not always stay, you know, a 2 through 8, right? But so jacks, they're your hobbyists. These people, actually, I missed 9s and 10s. No, I didn't. That was 9s and 10s I was talking about. Sorry. I'm like looking at my notes. So the jacks are like what we like to call is like the hobbyists, okay? So they're going to order their product every month. They're probably going to remain commission qualified they're probably going to earn their 2 and free every month, okay? They'll have a few customers here and there. They might actually have between like 1 and 2,000 of volume every single month, okay? Consistently. Again, these are all people that we absolutely love. They might sign a couple of promoters here or there, a couple of customers here or there, and it might just be a super slow pace. And I'm going to give an example out of this. Again, this is like, again, you might have a 1,000, 2,000 of volume every month. Alexis, okay? It took Alexis 1 year to go 4K. And I know she's not going to care that I say this because her story is absolutely incredible. It took Alexis 1 year to go 4K. What she didn't do that entire year was give up. What she didn't do is compare herself to everybody else. What she didn't do is not show up every day. She showed up. She has shown up every single day to get to where she is today. And it took her 1 year to go 4K. It took her a whole nother year to go 12K. But guess what? After she went 12K, within a matter of months, like 2, I think. A few months. She went 40K last month, you guys. Like and she's well over 40K right now. Like she is, she started out as what in this analogy would be a jack, you know, consistently holding, you know, between 1, 2, 3,000, you know, randomly, enrolling these customers or promoters and whatnot. And, you know, maybe she didn't ever find that joker and that ace in the beginning and whatever, but like her consistency, you don't want to dismiss those people. And she's one of the best leaders on our team. And I will say that, like, she's one of the best leaders on our team. Okay. So next I want to talk about your kings and queens. Okay. So your kings and queens, these are the ones that really get a taste of the potential of making this something full-time, right? These are like your 12Ks, okay? So these are the people who maybe make 1,000 a month, maybe 2,000 a month. They're like your auto earners, you know, your auto bonus earners, and things like that. But here's what I want to talk about, because we know that the aces are the runners, the leaders, the top rankers, the ones that show up, they keep dialing in, they continue to enroll, all these things. And then you got your jokers, who are like basically glorified aces and like your unicorns. But I want you to, I'm going to pretend like I have a deck of cards in my hand, because I don't, but I want to like pretend like I just shuffled a whole deck of cards, including the jokers. And I want you to see what happens, okay? And I've already like laid out the numbers that in my head, like I would pull out. So, okay, so I shuffled this deck, okay? Again, it's 54. It is including the jacks. So let's say I pull out one card, okay? That first card is a 3, okay? So we know that between 2 and 8, a 3 is a dud, right? I'm not gonna call them a dud, but like, they're the ones that come in and literally do nothing. They do nothing. They do not show up. They don't get on the Zooms. They don't whatever. And that too, in a lot of mindset issues, that can be a disappointment to us, okay? And it's not their problem, it's your own problem, okay? And the reason why I say that is because so often I have these conversations with girls, and they're like, you know, I've been told no like 20 times in a row, or I just signed this girl and I was so excited for her and now she's ghosted me, and all these things. And they really get themselves down. Like, they really had high hopes for these people, and now they're like disappointed, and now they're like feeling like they're doing something wrong and things like that. Like, that's one thing that y'all have to understand. Like, if you're focused so hard on what that person is doing more than what you're doing, that's a problem, and you need some self-development, and you need to regain some consistency in what you're doing, okay? So let's say that first card's a 3, okay? The next card is a 6, okay? We know that a 6 is in the same category. 6 is another one of those ones that come and do nothing. Now you flip over another card, and it's a 4. Again, now that's 3 people I've enrolled, 3 people that do nothing. Now, on average, statistically speaking, in this industry, a person that doesn't show up mindset-wise consistently will come into this industry, enroll 3 people, have 3 disappointments in their head, and quits, okay? That is statistically speaking in this industry, that when you enroll 3 people, your first 3 people, and you're not getting to where you really envisioned yourself, you quit, okay? And I see this so often, and it makes me so sad, because all I want to think about is, man, what was that next card? What would have been that next card if you had just kept going? So now you flip the 4th card. Let's say you didn't give up, but you flip that 4th card. Now it's an 8, okay? An 8 is closer. It's not in, it's still in that same category, but it's at the last number of that category, okay? So it's still someone that literally does nothing, okay? Now the next card is a 10, okay? So we know that 9s and 10s are basically glorified customers. They come in, they're the ones that are gonna order their products every single month, and, you know, stay commission qualified, and they're loving their products, but, you know, they're just not really doing business wise with it, right? But now, like, you love this person, right? Because they love the product. They show up. Like, they might get on some of the millionaire mindset meetings. They might get on some of these huddles, but we can do all these things and like physically show that we're showing up, but not actually be showing up and be putting the work in. Like, we can learn all the things. That's like if I sent you to the library and I said, hey, like, go learn how to be a doctor, read all these things, and you like just went in and read all these books, and then like, okay, like, I'm a doctor. Like, no, you kind of like, you might have read about it, but you're not doing anything to apply that knowledge. You're not going to the school, you're not doing your clinicals, all these things, right? So this is what a 10 is. It's getting closer, and you're kind of getting excited now, but now you're just like, in a lot of people's minds, you're like, oh, but I want so much more for this person. And now this person is where you're like really getting down on yourself, maybe, potentially, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next card. You don't give up yet. Okay. Now you pull the next card and it's another 8. This happens often, right? Where we might enroll somebody who does something and, they continue to order and that's really good. And then, it's building your confidence up because this is the first person who is actually ordering, right? And now you've enrolled another 8 who does nothing, right? So again, that's another confidence blow to your confidence, right? But now you still don't give up. And now the next card, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, your 7th card you draw, which is your 8th person or your 7th person you enroll. Now you draw a king. Okay. And we know kings and queens make about $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. It really kind of depends, but these are your auto earners. These are the people who do show up. They do the things. They are really like, they come in and they're shooting for the auto bonus. And I've seen this happen on more occasions than not, where somebody comes in and they just gung-ho, they do all the things and they go 12K so fast and they're doing so good. And then all of a sudden, like, that's where you're focused. Like as their leader, you're like, okay, this is my joker. You think this is my joker, right? But actually they're a king. And maybe if you had gotten to understand a little bit more of where they're at in their life, their business, and what their vision is, and where they really wanted to go with this business, maybe their goal was to get to 12K and be content with that. Okay. I see this so often where we then lose all of our focus on enrolling because now we've got a king and we think it's a joker or an ace, and we're just like pouring everything can you guys still hear me? It just kicked me out. Good. Okay. So now you kind of are, you like stopped focusing on your enrolling and doing all the things that helped you enroll people, because now you're like, all my attention is on this person. I'm doing all these trainings for this person in her team and all these things. But then like you're spinning your wheels and then they're just kind of consistently stagnant at like, 10,000, 14,000, 12,000. And they're like thinking, like, man, this leader's really like pushing me and making me feel pressured to do more and all these things. And sometimes we scare those people away. We scare those people into being like, man, like I'm not cut out for this. Like, yeah, I had a good run. I was doing really good, but whoa, that success scares the crap out of me, right? And they kind of back out and they kind of like back up, really like slow the roll. And now all of a sudden, what does that do to our ego? It kills it, because now we thought we enrolled this joker, this unicorn of all unicorns who was doing so amazing, 12K in like, 30 days, all these things. And now all of a sudden, like this person has now ghosted me. I'm not, hearing from them. They're not enrolling anymore. Like what's going on? You guys, this happens. This happens to me a few times. Like this happens. Okay. Here's the thing with that. So, when I told you earlier that statistically speaking, most people come in and will quit their business on an average of after 3 quote unquote disappointments, or things that kind of blew to their ego because they had too high of expectations either for themselves or out of their people that they are enrolling. And here's the thing. Sometimes, again, we have too high of expectations out of the people that we're enrolling. And yes, I absolutely would love everyone to come in and just be a freaking unicorn and, want this as much as I want it for them. But the minute I start realizing that maybe I want it more for that person than that person, that's when I'm like, I need to back off. I'm putting too much pressure on this person. Like this is scaring this person, right? So now, that was the 7th person we enrolled, right? That king, that person that came in and we thought it was a joker, and they went 12K super fast, and now like all that stuff happened. A lot of times I see like, and I've seen this happen too, like that happens and that's such a blow to your ego, because now all of a sudden you're not enrolling and you're not doing the things, and you haven't become consistent with the things because you stopped focusing on your own business growth and started focusing on just that one person who maybe didn't want it as much as you wanted it for them and scared them off. And I've seen people quit here too. Okay. So what happens now if all of the sudden, oh, okay, sorry, hold on. That's called management mode, what I was just talking about. Management mode is when all of a sudden you stop doing all of the things to make sure you're enrolling, and you're doing all of the things to make sure you're making sure this person is enrolling and that person is doing all the things. Like, that's management mode. And when you find yourself in management mode, that's a really dangerous spot to be in your business, because A, people don't like to be managed. B, now you're not doing anything to grow on your end anymore, and your PPA is going down, okay? So now all of a sudden, you didn't quit. This happened. You got that king, and now the next person is an ace, okay? That was the eighth person. What would have happened if you had quit after that 7th enrollment because you're just like, man, this has just been a lot of work. You know, I really thought that person was a joker. Like, this isn't cut out for me. I'm not a good leader. All these things, you start comparing yourself. You start seeing, you know, Jane down the road, you know, just went 200K, and you're still sitting at maybe 20,000 a month, you know, and it's not growing. And you're just really in this comparison mode now. And then you just kind of fall apart and leave. And maybe you drop the whole deck of cards and it's on the floor, and now you have to pick it back up, right? And now everything is all shuffled up. So, but what if that didn't happen? And what if you kept going? And what if you stayed consistent? And what if you stopped being in comparison mode? And that next card you drew was that ace. This is, again, you remember, you guys, an ace is your person who's going to be here till the end. They're going to end up at 200K. It might take them 3 months. It might take them 1 year. It doesn't matter, but they're the ones who are awesome leaders. They show up for not just themselves, but they show up for your team. They are doing all the things. They're offering suggestions, and they're in the trenches with you. And like, this is a really amazing leader on your team. And again, like, it took now 8 cards to pull that ace. So what I'm trying to get at is, now what happens to, like, after that ace, the next person you enrolled is back to a 2. This happens because remember, 36 cards of that 54 are 2 through 8. Most of the people that we bring into this company aren't going to do anything, and we have to be okay with that. We have to understand that that's a process and that's a journey, that just happens. Like, most people out there, that's why we call it the 2% of the world, because only 2% of people are actually going to do the things and grow and become super successful, because it's not everyone has that dream of being a top, like, PPA enroller, you know, a top income earner. Like, maybe their dream was specifically to, like, hey, I don't have a car that's reliable to get my kid to work, and like, that's really all I wanted, you know, like, I still love my job, I still, like, you know, want to not do that full time, and that's okay, you guys. We just have to respect everybody to where they are. So let's say then you enroll that 2, okay? Now you enroll a jack, or a jack again, and then you go back to a 10, a 7, a 5, and then all of a sudden, like, way down the road, you finally pull a joker, okay? Like, so the whole thing I'm trying to say is, you have to keep focusing on that next card. And I don't mean you enroll somebody and you leave them in the dust and just keep enrolling and don't work with your team. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you have to stay in the grind mode, and you have to stay in the work mode the entire time. Like, you have to show up consistently for yourself, and you can't have high expectations for the people that you come in. You have to be able to understand where they are, know their story, understand, you know, what their goals are, and help them reach those goals and still work with them. But you still need to, like, your biggest focus is continuing to grow your business and continuing to focus on that next card. I'm not going to draw 7 cards and be like, that's it, there's no more people in the world. Well, guess what? 54 minus 7, 40 something. I don't know. There's 40 something more cards left in that deck that I just let sit there. And now somebody else is going to pick up those 42 cards. And the thing with this industry is, there's hundreds of decks of cards, hundreds and thousands and millions of decks and cards. We are never going to run out of people. It's okay when somebody says no. It's okay when somebody ghosts you. It's okay that somebody comes in and takes a year to go 4K. It's okay that maybe they came in, rocked it, went 12K in a month, and all of a sudden they're out there selling yoga pants now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff happens, and we can't get our emotions attached to that. And I think that's one of the biggest things that happens with this industry is people are tying their emotions and all of that into these people that they're enrolling, and they're taking the people that they're enrolling in their journey to heart, whatever they do with this business, whether they come in, buy the product once and never talk to you again, or come in and become a 200K in 90 days. Like, that's up to them. Like, yeah, we have the resources. Our biggest goal is to become duplicatable for our team, right? If we can create that duplication and show up consistently, that's why we have the Millionaire Mindset meetings at the same time. Every Monday through Friday, we have our Sunday Night Huddles at the same time. Every Sunday, we have the tools and resources. We have the leaders here to be able to, pour into the team. But it is up to that person that you enrolled on what they want to do with it. And it is not your fault what they do with it. And you cannot take that to heart and make that an excuse for your business. One of the conversations I cringe to have, but I have them sometimes, is when somebody tells me like that, I'm still not this rank. I've been doing this for X amount of months or years, and my husband isn't supportive and all these things, and they just sit there and get down on themselves and worry about what everybody else is thinking. What you have to understand is it's a you thing. That's a you problem. You have to get out of your own damn way. Who gives a shit what? I'm sorry, but if your husband's not supportive, then prove him wrong. Then get up and do what you need to do and prove him wrong. If you're passionate about this, if you are all about these products, if you can clearly see it's changing your life, then do you, boo. Like, do you. Aaron didn't take these products for like a year and a half after I started this business, and now he takes them every day on his own. He loves them. Like, he knows. Like, he's supportive of me now, but in the beginning he wasn't. And that can be a tough conversation to have, but you have to be able to push through that. And you can't use those things as an excuse when that should be your driving point, right? Your driving point should be able to have more time with your husband or your kids, or, be proud of yourself. You don't need anyone else's validation. You don't need to compare yourself to the person on the street, because that deck of cards wouldn't be a deck of cards without 2s through 8s. It wouldn't be a deck of cards without 9s and 10s. It wouldn't be a deck of cards without jacks, queens, kings, aces, and jokers. You have to have every piece of that puzzle to have a full deck of cards. Okay, so you just kind of have to understand that we can't tie our emotions into what people on your team may or may not be doing. As long as you know that you're showing up for yourself and your business, and that you're providing the resources for them, and not just like enrolling them and letting them in the dust, but at the same time, not focusing so much on their business more than they are. Like, I used to do that. I had such a personality where I'm just like, I know they can do so good. Like, why can't they just be a red like me? Like, why can't they just, it's not that hard. Like, I'm that kind of a person. I used to be that way until I realized, like, hey, a rainbow needs all the colors. A deck of cards needs all the numbers. Like, it's okay to have all these different pieces to your puzzle. You're not going to have, 54 jokers in your deck. You're going to have 2, so it doesn't take, 1,000 runners to be a 200K. It takes 2. You know what I mean? Like, it takes 2. And if you just keep going, you don't dwell on the nose and, all those things, and you stay consistent with you and your business and doing the things and showing up for yourself, and not just, here's the other thing. You might be doing self-development every single day. You might be listening to audibles and checking the box. I actually know somebody, a friend of ours, and Aaron and I talk about this often. He's always like, hey bro, did you see that I got another check mark thing on Audible? Like, there's like these like rewards you can earn on however many minutes you listen to stuff. But we know, like, this person, he's a really good friend of Aaron's, but he does it to check the box. And we know, because we know him so personally, that he doesn't apply those things in his life. And we know because of that, that there's a lot of things spiraling downhill in his life right now. You can't do self-development and listen to the book and not apply it, right? Like, you don't go to school to be a doctor and then all of a sudden you graduate and it's like, I'm done. That's it. Like, no, now you go be a doctor. You go do the thing, right? So I just want you to just get over yourself and know that you're worth it. And if you stay consistent and you don't tie your emotions to everybody else's what they and their goals are, you're gonna be just fine. You just keep going. It might take you 5 years to go 200K. That's okay. It might take you 5 months. You don't know if you don't keep going. If you don't pick up that next card, you don't know that that's a joker under there. You know what I mean? So you just, when people tell me, everyone keeps telling me no, that's awesome, because now you're closer to that next yes. So I just wanted to talk about that and share that with you, because when my girl brought that to my attention yesterday, I was like, I listened, and then I like researched more on it, and I'm like, this is life. Like this applies to not just our business, but to life. And it just is so fitting with conversations that you're going to see. If you're in this business for the long run, which I hope you all are, you're going to have these conversations with people. Like, they're going to come to you and be like, I'm quitting because, 3 people told me no. Like, and that's going to happen. And that's going to be bless and release. Bye, girl. It's fine. Like, this might not be for you. So I just wanted to share that. And I've already taken up like 30 minutes of the time. So I really, though, I want you to talk to Tesla. Tesla, in the past month, has had this like mindset shift click, and I love her reasoning behind what she's doing, why she's doing it, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So Tesla, if you could unmute yourself and just start, that would be awesome.
Okay, did I do it right? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, just a second, Ryder. So this past month, I had this original goal. I'm currently at 4K, and I had this original goal of going 12K. So we have like a group chat for all the girls that are like, this is my goal, this is what I'm gonna do. Can you please go sit down, baby? You wanna say hi? Is that what you're doing? Sorry, Ryder wanted to say hi. So my original goal was to go 12K. And the more I got into it, the more I was like looking at my reporting on my back office and everything. I'm checking all this stuff out, and I'm like, I'm looking at these numbers wrong. And I sat down with my husband one night, and I'm like, baby, can you go sit down, please? Thank you. Loves Big Shark. Sorry, squirrel moment. So I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm staring. Oh my God, my laptop. I am just sitting there staring at like my volume, and I'm like, I don't think this is the number I need to be focusing on. Like, I know that I should be working on like getting more customers and helping to change more lives, rather than staring at this number, wondering how many sales, that how many 3 steps do I need to try to sell to hit 12K, get that auto bonus, things like that. And my husband's very supportive of my business. And so when I told him that, he just looks at me and he goes, well, you've got your answer then. You're looking at the wrong numbers. You need to be focusing on who you can help. And I'm like, all right, dude, let's go. So I went ahead and I've got my little journal for like my monthly goals and everything. And it says for personal growth, I wrote hit 12K and I marked it out. And I decided that what I needed to do was try to change 30 lives this month. I wanted to help a promoter thrive for free, and I wrote myself a little message. And I just put to do it all scared, because there's no way that I was going to be able to do all of this and feel super comfortable with it. Yes, baby, that's disease. Because if I'm super comfortable with what I'm doing, then that means I'm not growing. So I told myself,
You're muted. You're good
Oh,
now.
okay. So what I told myself was that I was going to just do it all scared because there's no way that I was going to be able to do it comfortable if I'm trying to grow. And I feel like as soon as I decided that I wasn't going to focus on my volume, I was going to focus on how many new lives I was going to be able to change. That it's kind of like just something clicked and everything just started working a little bit smoother for me. Ryder, baby, just a moment, okay? I know you're a big boy. I'm sorry. So that became my new focus, and I feel like as soon as that became my main focus, everything else just started rolling. I got the ball rolling with that. I started focusing more on building relationships with everyone that I had sampled to, checking in on them. I didn't exactly not working out of desperation. I didn't want to feel like everything was going to be about a dollar sign because that's not how I want to run my business. I mean, the money would be great, but that's not what I want to focus on. Because if I'm changing the lives, then everything else that I'm working towards is going to come with that. So I reached out to a couple people like Melissa, and I think I talked to Alexis as well. And I'm like, okay, this is my new goal. I know 12K was originally it, but I'm going to change my goal. And I feel like I grew 6 feet in the moment that it just clicked in my brain. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I started, this business to do, is to change my life, to change others' lives, try to help, new promoters change their lives financially and with their overall health. And I don't know. I feel like ever since I'd made that one decision, I've been feeling more comfortable with doing lives. I've been feeling more comfortable with responding to messages with more confidence. Sometimes I would get a message and I'm like, I don't know how to answer this. I need to reach out to someone. And now I feel like I am actually becoming like the boss babe I've been imagining myself as, because I've got that inner confidence now, because I made the decision just to switch my goal to focus on changing more lives rather than to just try to change my own by looking at that other number. I'm sorry, Stephany, am I going off on a tangent? I'm sorry.
No, it's really good. And I love that because I want you to share. I know what it is, but is Dad with you? You go ask Dad. Shut the door and go ask Dad. Sorry. So I know the answer, but I want you to share now what you've enrolled this month, because when you switched your mindset and you started to focus on, okay, how many lives can I change versus what rank can I get to? That's really where things started to change. And I've seen so much growth in you just in the last month. And it is tremendous. Like I will tell you, on my team, you're on the top 4 people.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking at my back office right now and it says new customers this month, 24. And then on another account, I've helped enroll an additional 2. So my goal right now is I've got 2 people I'm talking to while I'm on this call right now, trying to see if I can help them with their health goals. And I feel like as long as I stay in this mindset, there's nothing that can get me down. Even if I only get 29 out of 30, that's 29 lives that I wouldn't have changed all those, because my focus was on the wrong number. And now that I've got this new mindset as to like what my true goal should have been, I feel like it should have been this the entire time. That now I'm actually going to find real success because my goal is long term to help other people.
I love that so much, because and I like when you said, like, even if I get 29, then that's still 29 lives, because so many times I see people make this goal and then they might miss it. And then all of a sudden they went 10 steps back mentally because they're like, well, I didn't hit my goal. Like, I'm not good enough. But like, girl, I just had this conversation with somebody just the other day who was like, I've been here for a year and I'm still at 12K. And I'm like, can I just stop you for 1 second? Because this month you have more volume than you ever had in a month. You need to be damn proud of yourself right now. And I had that conversation with her and she was like, oh my gosh, you're right. We do have more volume than we've ever had. I'm like, yeah, like you have to look at where you're at and trust that process. Right. So like, I'm so proud of you for that breakthrough, because I've seen so much growth in you just from switching that one thing, one goal. So thank you for sharing that, Tesla. And I know that so many people needed to hear that. I know that I needed to hear that, and so many people needed to hear that. So do you have anything else you want to share on that?
Not on that, but I've been seeing all these posts about all these girls popping ranks, and I just want to say real quick, holy shit, that's amazing. You guys are an inspiration. I am looking at my calendar and I'm like, I'm going to change these many lives and I'm going to hit those goals, and I'm just going to sit back here and cheer for these other girls while they are just making their dreams come true by changing all these lives and getting exactly what they needed out of this business.
Yes, and that's so true. Like, we got to cheer our sisters on, like, be happy for everyone else where they are. Like, you know, maybe it's not our time to, like, let's say maybe we're a person and maybe we're not ranking up this month. That's okay. Like, there's other people that we can cheer on, because it might not be our time to rank up right now, but our time's coming, right? Everyone is going through a different direction and path to get to that goal, right? So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. That's all I've got, unless Tesla, you want to add any more?
That's night.
Well, thank you guys for popping on. We have 175 people on right now. One thing I wanted to say is, like, right before I started this Zoom, I know Corinne was like 300 something away from 80K. And I don't know where you're at right now, Corinne, but like, she's going 80K, like, in a matter of like real soon. So I'm super excited for you, girl.
I'm putting in an order right now for a customer.
Yay! Like, seeing so many new 80Ks and 200Ks on this team is just mind blowing, and I love every minute of it. So congrats soon to you, Corinne. So excited for you. But yeah, okay. Well, thank you guys for jumping on. I love you all. I have recorded this, so I will post the link into the leader chat, and y'all can disperse to your teams as soon as I get that out. So thanks again for popping on. Bye, guys.